So, what are we up to today? Well, I have been busy chipping, making piles, cleaning up some of the trees around this road, cleaning things up. Usually if I get a spare hour or two, I'll grab the chainsaw, baby chainsaw, pole saw, some other toys, grab the tractor, come on out here and chip away. Slowly chipping away this giant brush mess, which isn't really a mess, it's natural. But what it all is it's ladder fuels. If we get a forest fire in here, or I shouldn't say if, when we get a forest fire in here, anything that burns down here starts burning up there. And there's a big difference between a brush fire and a crown fire. Brush fires are dangerous. Crown fires explode. So, a couple years ago, we had a big snowstorm. And in that snowstorm, we lost a lot of treetops. And those treetops would just fall on down to the forest floor. I've got 17 acres here. And those 17 acres come with lots of brush. That's why we have goats. They eat lots of stuff. And knocking a lot of that stuff down helps a lot, but it doesn't do everything. And I could make piles and I can burn stuff. I've done that before. But ultimately, I find it to be a lot more beneficial to just chip. It's a little bit more controllable, and I think it's a little better for the property. Here's my problem. This tree lost its top. Didn't go far, dropped right here. Luckily, I didn't hit my fence line, so that's good. But we need to take care of this problem. What I'm probably going to do is chop this into a couple little pieces. And I'm probably going to hook the tractor up to one piece of it, just pull it right out of there. I'm probably going to cut it to about waist high where I can get to it and then run a chain onto the tractor. We'll see how that goes. So here's a really good example of how much kindling is on some of these trees. That's a lot of fire starting material, and that's a lot of what we call ladder fuels. That's how fires that start down below here as brush fires turn into ladder fires. And they get up into the crowns of the trees. And when they get up there, all bets are off. That sucker's going anywhere and everywhere. All right, you get the tractor back here. Easier said than done. Thinking we come in that way. I think we have a path. Oh, get down a little air on that. wedged in there. It doesn't look like it's impeding the motor. Still don't like it though. Alright, so that's out. That is looser than crap. Don't like that. Wonder if this valve is broken. I've hit that before and it feels pretty loose. And it looks like even the boot is ripped open. Might have to order another one of those. Returned. Bear with me, 5/8 French and an adjustable wrench. A couple things I want to do here. One, probably should have checked, and I guessed incorrectly. I was thinking that was 5/8. It's probably not. Different size. 11/16. Next one up. This is a design flaw as far as I'm concerned. Anything that can catch material or water should have a drain hole, at the very least. Okay, so basics on how this works. Tractor has what we call a PTO, or power takeoff. Power takeoff is basically something that comes off the engine transmission and moves this shaft. When the shaft moves, it moves this flywheel. The flywheel is there because it's very heavy, and that heaviness, that weight, and absorbs the impact of it hitting sticks repeatedly. And it has knives. There's 4 knives in it all the way around. In turn, that shaft that drives the PTO goes into this, the pump. Now, we need to know if the pump is working or not. The pump draws its fluid through this hose from this tank of oil. This is 1540. Assume it's hydraulic oil. It's basically just motor oil. I don't know why they wanted such low viscosity. Normally it's like 75-90, but it was what they wanted. So, pump draws up into here, pushes it out this hose right here. We follow that hose right here, and that hose goes into this valve. The function of this valve is to set speed, basically to control the amount of flow that's going to the motor. At the same time, the output of this, which I believe is here, and it could be reversed, I believe the output of this goes to this valve here, and this valve allows us to make the flow go one way, make the flow go the other way, or stop it altogether. I believe this is all a return back to the pump. So you see how we have 2 to the motor? This is basically going to change the direction of flow of the fluid from one side to the other side to reverse the direction in which that's the feeder. And basically, when you put a stick in here, it feeds that in there. If the safety bar hits, it's going to stop it from feeding. So you can't do a Fargo and self-feed yourself into the chipper, or at least less likely to. So we need to diagnose why that feeder is not feeding, because if it does not feed, we cannot ship. So let's get this closed. And what we're going to do is crack open a couple of these lines to see if we are getting flow and where the flow stops. My assertion is that the flow, that this valve here is not working, because I've broken this off before and it feels very loose. It's not as stiff as it normally is. If that's the case, we may be able to do a little bit of hot wiring here, but I don't think we can. I don't think this is broken because I can feel with my hand the other end of this rod in that mechanism. Feels like something sliding back and forth, but hydraulics, it doesn't take much sometimes to go from working to broken. So let's do a little bit of turn it on, crack a couple lines, see where we don't have flow. But that side of the tank is uphill. Slight, but it is uphill. When we turn this tractor around and we get the feed side, which is that side, downhill, we may have some action. Let's try that. You saw how I checked the oil. It wasn't all the way down. Alright, so I bet you I know what you're thinking. We took a huge pile of brush, basically of kindling, and we turned it into this big pile of chips. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, hey, that's just as much of a fire hazard as the kindling is. And the answer to that is no, it's not. This is going to break down and decompose a lot quicker, a whole lot quicker than that pile of kindling. And it's going to turn into nutrients that are going to help make this forest healthier. This soil is really very clay-like, so any organics we can get into it, the better it's going to improve the grass, or the more it's going to improve the soil. So I like this better than burning. The other problem that I have when I'm burning is I make these big piles of sticks, and then you have to wait for the right burn days. And a lot of times that can be months. And in the meantime, critters move into the piles. Skunks, forest rats, things like that. My neighbor Steve, his truck got eaten by rats. True story. Ate the whole wiring harness. He's got better service skills with his insurance guys because they covered the damage. But man, he was out that truck for a good 6 months while they custom built a new harness. Okay, so we are going to back up, hook onto this, and pull it out. And of course, the question is, how far do we need to back up? And the answer to that question is how much chain did I bring? This chain kind of lives right here. Got a whole bunch. Let's see what we can do here. Start with the long one. I always keep 3 lengths of chain on the tractor. Makes it nice and easy. Good for choking. Now, depending on how you choke your log, you can actually, if you choke it in the right spot on the left side or the right side, just like pool, you can put a little English on the log, and you can roll the log left or right, depending on whether or not, or what you need to do in order to get it out of a branch or something, out of a pile of logs. In this case, I think a straight pull is going to be fine. I reserve the right to change my mind once that doesn't work. Now, what do we want to pull with? I always thought I should put a couple of clips here in the back. I really don't want to pull with the back of the chipper. I'd rather pull with the front of the tractor. The problem with that is we have to do a 180-degree flip in order to make that effective. So, all the while avoiding punji sticks. Punji sticks go right through those tires. You do not want to turn this into a high flat tire. Well, that's how I like to spend a couple extra hours on my property here in Oregon. Hope you enjoyed watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And hey, if you own property and you don't have a good fire break around your house and you get a couple hours to kill, clear some land. Make that fire break bigger. Get rid of some of these ladder fuels. Hope to see everybody out on the trail. Have a great day, folks.